Hey guys, GM to all. So once again, this is Nomad Fury, and we're back for another episode of the Nomads podcast. So our special guest for today's episode is Alan Taylor, the co-host of Defluenced podcast and the author of the Web3 social book, as what you've seen right here on the screen. So Alan, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Okay, and also I would like to say hello to all of our subscribers and viewers who are tuning in to our podcast right now with Alan Taylor. So this is going to be an interesting discussion regarding his book and of course the decentralized social media platforms, regarding his insights and so much more. So Alan, are we all set?
All set, ready to go.
Okay, so first things first, Alan. Before you got into crypto and Web3, so let's try to stroll back in time, shall we? So, could you share how you got introduced into crypto and Web3 for the first time, and why you've decided to pursue it?
Yeah, that's a great question. Um, you know, I come from a background of journalism, and so I was a newspaper editor a long time ago, back before the internet. So when I came online, started pursuing work online. I started a freelance writing business in 2006. So I've had a lot of different clients over the years. And I had this one client that hired me to be a publication editor for an online publication in the financial technology space. I started specializing in fintech in around 2013. Um, so George wanted to, this is right about in 2017 when the big bull market hit in Bitcoin. And George wanted to start a blockchain based, cryptocurrency based publication. Since I was editing his other publication, he asked me if I wanted to be the editor of his new one based on cryptocurrencies, focused on crypto and blockchain. And of course, I said, yeah, sure, why not? So, increased my income, and I got to learn a lot of neat things. And that's how I got into crypto, is just learning about it by editing that publication. And I learned about this little site called Steemit at the time that was pretty popular, and started playing around on Steemit and kind of liked what I saw. And next thing I know, this whole Web3 thing started flourishing with decentralized social media websites popping up everywhere. And I just started exploring them.
Wow, so you've mentioned Steemit, right? In which I have used it since during my early days, in my crypto journey, way back in 2017. I've missed using that Steemit, by the way. By the way, thank you so much, Alan, for sharing to us, on how you got introduced into the crypto and the Web3 space. So each of us has our own beginnings.
That's right.
Yeah. Me, of course, I started doing crypto in 2017, during the early bull run days when Bitcoin hit 10,000 USD for the first time. And
Mhm.
fast forward to today, here we are right now, still pursuing this industry. Okay. Now, Alan, what's originally behind the name Defluenced podcast? Since you are the co-host of that podcast on YouTube, like, why did you choose that name of your podcast show?
Well, actually, that name was chosen by my co-host, who actually was the creator of the show, Uncle Bonehead. He goes by Uncle Bonehead on Hive, and we bumped into each other on Hive, and he saw my book, Web3 Social, read the book, got all excited about it, and was going to interview me for his show, and decided instead to invite me to be a co-host. So that's how I got involved with Defluence. But the idea is, you hear of the influencer economy. Well, Defluenced is just sort of the opposite. So what we're trying to encourage people to do is, instead of following influencers and being influenced by what others suggest you should do, we say be your own person, and control your own identity, and control your own assets and take charge of your content. And that's what Web3 social allows you to do. So that's the offering behind Web3. We call it Defluenced because we don't want you to be influenced by all these influencers out there telling you what to buy, what to do. Be your own person. You be the defluencer. And that's the whole idea behind that.
I kind of like that term, defluence. Wow, great name by the way. For your podcast show. As a co-host, here's the main thing right now. It's gonna be all about the book that you have, which is Web3 Social: How Creators Are Changing the World Wide Web, and you can as well. So, could you elaborate more about it, Alan?
Yeah. So what the book does is it serves as an introduction for people who may not be familiar with cryptocurrencies or blockchain technology, and particularly the Web3 social media space, the decentralized social media platforms. Since 2016, which is when Steemit launched, there have been more than 100 different platforms pop up in this space, and they range in different formats. Some are blogging platforms, others are video focused platforms, and some are pure social networking. Some of them have their own native tokens, some of them don't. Some are more decentralized and some are not. So what I do is I give a breakdown. What does all of that mean? And what is the primary benefit, or what are the primary benefits to creators as well as curators and users on these platforms? Is it all about the crypto? Are there other things? So, censorship resistance, how you can control your own intellectual property, how you can secure your data so that it isn't just out there for everyone to see. The platforms, most of them don't sell your information, unlike the Web2 platforms. And so I talk about all those issues, what the issues are with the Web2 platforms, the shadow banning, deplatforming, and demonetization, and how Web3 solves those problems for creators.
Yeah, I kind of agree with your statement between the Web 2 and the Web 3 platforms. No disrespect about the Web 2 though, although that you could say that Web 3 is the future of the internet. But I got a colleague of mine who's saying, realistically, that Web 3 cannot replace Web 2 totally, but of course Web 3 is the future. Now, my question for you, Alan, is why are you so bullish about decentralized social media? And in your opinion or insight, how does decentralized social media changes the game in terms of our user experience in the world of social media?
Yeah, that's a great question. I approach the topic a little bit differently than a lot of people do. You mentioned, Web 2. And there's no reason to bash Web 2 platforms, and I try not to do that. I point out some of the problems with them, but I'm also not afraid to praise them where they deserve to be praised. After all, if it wasn't for Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and these Web 2 platforms, there wouldn't be a creator economy. Creators are making money on these platforms. So that's to be praised. I do agree that Web3 has great potential to pick up where these platforms leave off. And that's the point that I want to make in my book, is that they incentivize content creators in a different way than Web2 platforms do. And so in the Web2 economy, what we call the attention economy, it's based on creating content that attracts the most attention. So, what you get often is disingenuous interactions. You get fake news. That's why it rises to the top. You get clickbait titles that just inspire people to make the click. then they become subject to the advertising. So there's a host of issues that I outline in the book. But Web3 social sort of takes a different approach. And so for creators, the idea is not to make money on advertising, who gets the most clicks, who can get the most attention, and all of that. So it's based more on creating great content that people will find in ways other than the algorithmic method used by Web2 platforms. So it diminishes shadow banning. It diminishes deplatforming and demonetizing because the platforms can't do that. As you mentioned, with decentralization, the community controls the governance of the platform. It isn't a hierarchy, so no one can come in and ban you. So your content's more secure, it's more censorship resistant, and you have more powerful ways to monetize it.
All right. So at least have you shared to us, about your insight, like how these decentralized social media platforms are going to be the game changers when it comes to the user experience. And you know what, Alan, me myself as a content creator, I've been a content creator, since the day I started crypto, way back in 2018. I started my YouTube channel. I kind of relate, for most of the content creators, in which when we are going to contribute something, but we are subject to like a shadow banning, demonetizing, and so on. I've already experienced that. I've been there, done that already. Not just once, but many times already. But yeah, this decentralized social media platforms are going to be the game changers. In which when we are going to share our content, the community themselves are the ones who are really making the decision. Now,
Yeah.
could you name at least a few more decentralized social media platforms that you think our listeners right now who are tuning into this podcast could benefit more in the long run?
Yeah. One of my favorites is Hive. And Hive is one of the things I like about Hive is it isn't just a single platform. Hive has multiple interfaces, and so you can post to the blockchain using any one of the different front ends. And so you can use 3Speak, you can use Ecency, you can use Leo Finance, and so you go to any of those platforms and you can create the content and it shows up on the blockchain. And I think that's a very powerful thing. And the way you can monetize your content on Hive by building a network of people who appreciate your content, with upvotes. Upvotes translates into rewards. You can curate the posts of others, and that can also be rewarded. And of course, even as a reader, you can also earn rewards by interacting with content as well. So I think Hive is an excellent example of decentralized social media. Publish 0x is not decentralized, but I think it's a good place for people new to Web3 social to get started, simply because most of the content is crypto based. So you can learn about crypto while you read, and the way that you tip content creators as a reader, you can also earn a portion of those rewards. And it incentivizes you not only to be involved in the platform, but also to learn more about crypto. And Publish doesn't have its own token or its own cryptocurrency, which means it's less subject to being gamed by people who are just there for the monetary rewards. So I think Publish is a great place to start. There are some up and coming ones that I think have some potential as well. I'm really looking forward to playing around on Lens Protocol. There are some early beta testers that are working on that are testing Lens now. Unfortunately, I didn't get in on that, so I'm still waiting to be to whitelist. I'm on the wait list for playing around, and I'm anxious to get started. So I'm hoping that's going to pan out and live up to its marketing promise. And one of the things that I like about it is the promise for users to have their data portable to from one platform to another. So they're promising an open social graph, which I think has a very strong potential in social media and transforming the web, the entire web, to a sort of decentralized social media platform all on its own, which was originally kind of the idea. Um, it's come a long way from content publishing in 1990, where all you could do was just publish a website and people come along and read. Now people can interact and with those web pages and create content on the pages themselves, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing the growth of social media transform into a more open social graph.
All right. Wow. You have mentioned Hive, right? So what I remembered about Hive, I think it is a fork of Steam, during the time when there are some issues, when Justin Sun had entered the server in the Steam, and then things are going like chaotic thing, like there are some disagreements or something like that, in which they're deciding to fork it into Hive. Also, I would like to share something, some of the centralized social media platforms that I know. I don't know if you've heard about this, but I think it has been around like for like a few years. Library, LBRY.
Library, yeah, library is great for video creators. I've used it a little bit. I don't do a lot of video, so I'm more of a writer. Um, and initially they were going to has all sorts of different types of content. They were promising ebooks and all types of other content formats, but I didn't see much of that. So it's mostly video. Um, they may have changed by now, but I have known and talked to a few library creators who are a bit disappointed in the last year or so with some changes that have taken place there. But I won't comment on those since I'm not a user. But I think library for a long time has been one of the top video platforms in the space.
It can even sync your YouTube account there if you are already qualified for the YouTube Partner Program. And I think when I have clicked Library, they have rebranded to Odyssey. And also, there's another decentralized social media platform. It's kind of a decentralized YouTube. It's what we call DTube. Have you heard of it?
DTube, I have, yes.
Now, one of the biggest trends right now for this year is no other than AI, or what we call as the artificial intelligence. So it started off with Chat GPT, by the Open AI. And personally, I have tried Chat GPT, especially the latest one, which is the GPT-4. Okay. And it has made our internet life much easier, especially when we do some content creation or something like that. Now, a lot of Web3 and crypto projects are already adopting or about to adopt the AI technology. Now, Alan, in your own opinion or insight, do you think both decentralized social media and AI can coexist? If yes, how?
Well, yeah, I think they will coexist. I'll be honest though, I'm leery of artificial intelligence, the AI platforms. I think there are some concerns as a content creator, as a person who has created original content in some form or another on the internet for well over 20 years, since the mid 90s. I think AI has some challenges to overcome. For one thing, just playing around with it a little bit myself, it seems to regurgitate a lot of what's already out there on the internet. So, if you're going to use it for content creation, you need to go to the extra step to make sure that you're not plagiarizing. Um, AI doesn't tend to attribute its sources, so ask it a question, it comes back with answers, but you don't know where that information is coming from. Is it coming out of Wikipedia? Is it coming from a scientific journal? You have no way of knowing. And so, as a researcher, that poses a problem for me as someone that would take pride in being able to prove that the validity of my research. I would have a problem using AI for content creation. That's not to say it can't have legitimate uses, but I think there are some concerns that really need to be addressed by anyone that does plan to utilize it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. It's not yet perfect as of the moment, even though that you say that GPT-4 is a kind of an upgraded version of it, and it sounds like a human, but it's not yet perfect. Based on my experience, it does have some pros and cons. Based on the perspective. You're right about when it comes to the content creation. We still have to double or triple check. If to avoid plagiarism or something like that. But if you are searching for some info, well, at least that's good. But if you're using it for content creation, well, we just have to be very careful because we cannot really conclude that AI could give us some unique content or something like that whenever we want to search for something. Like, we want to upload it on our decentralized social media platform, blog, video, or something like that. It's gonna be really interesting, Alan, to see the ongoing and future developments of this industry. If these decentralized platforms, especially social media and AI, could really coexist. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. For my final question to you, Alan, could you give us some reasons on why we should not regret in grabbing your Web3 social book today? And of course, if for all of the subscribers and viewers here who are interested in getting your book, where should we buy it?
Yeah, great question. Well, as to the reasons why you should buy the book, yeah, I think it's important to understand what to expect. So, Web3 Social gives a good why to for Web3 Social. So, it delves into what Web3 Social is, why it's important, and serves as a great introduction to the more than 100 different Web3 social media platforms that I've found and that are vying for attention. And these are platforms that and protocols, which I haven't talked about at all today. But I think protocols are very important, and I explain the difference between a platform and a protocol, and why the future belongs to protocols more than platforms. And so I give the reader a good overview of the history of the web, the history of decentralization, why the internet started out as a decentralized asset, how it kind of lost that somewhere in the mix of Web 2 platforms, and how Web 3 social is promising to give it back to us. And so I give a little bit of a historic perspective. I give a perspective from a point of view of a creator, which I have been for 30 years now online, and I tell why all of that's important and how the internet is transforming again into a decentralized asset, which will benefit all creators. So I give a lot of food for thought there, for you to delve into on why Web3 social is important at this historic time in the internet's development. Where you can get it is Amazon. It's available in print. It's also available in the Kindle format on Amazon. And you can mint the book at Readle.co. I have a very few limited NFTs available there. And once those are exhausted, I will likely raise the price and remint it again. But right now, it's mintable at Readle for one Matic.
So not only that we get your book in the Amazon, but we could actually mint it, like an NFT. First time that I've heard
Yes.
it. Freaking awesome. Very nice, by the way. So you guys have heard it from Alan on why we should not regret in grabbing a copy of his book called The Web3 Social. Okay. Also, thank you so much as well for sharing to us, on where should we actually buy your book right now. So yeah, you heard it. It's on Amazon, it's on Kindle, and of course you can make it an NFT. So all the details are just right here in the description of this video. Okay, so before we wrap things up, so Alan, do you have some parting words for our amazing subscribers who are tuning in to our podcast right now?
Yeah, I would just say thanks for listening. And, if you are not involved in Web3 social media at this time, I'd encourage you to check out some of the platforms I talk in my book. I have a free download at web3forcreators.info, and it's a quick start action guide. If you're not familiar with a wallet, you know what a wallet is, how to get one. I show you how to get a crypto wallet, what to do with it, how to set it up, and how to get started in Web3 social media using your crypto wallet and a few other resources. And it's very very quick, easy read, and it just breaks it down to very simple terms.
Okay, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our special guest for today's episode of the Nomads podcast. We have the co-host of the Defluenced podcast and the author of the Web3 Social, How Creators Are Changing the World Wide Web, and you can too. So we have Mr. Alan Taylor. So once again, Alan, thank you so much for being here on the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. And also, I would like to thank all of our subscribers and viewers who are tuning in to our podcast with Alan Taylor. So if you want more details, so I provided all of the source links right here in the video description. So guys, I do have a question for you right now. Did you enjoy tuning into our podcast right now? Has this podcast helped you a lot and gives value in any way? And what do you think about it? Just let us know right here in the comment section. So once again, this is Nomad Fury, and I'll see you all again next time. Thank you all for watching.